Shanghai was one of China's first cities to industrialize and urbanize. It is open, diverse, and inclusive.
You cook so well. Thank you.
No immigrants, no Shanghai. Food from across China has found a home here.
Most are regulars. We know their order as soon as they walk in.
Shanghai xiaolongbao, Shanghai Shengjian buns, the breakfast staples, flatbread, youtiao sticky rice rolls and soy milk, shuangdong soup and benbong cuisine. Over generations, they became more and more local.
No chains, no pre-made dishes. I want to bring out benbong flavors and pass them on.
We Shanghai kids born in the 80s grew up in the alleyways, so after opening my restaurant, I've kept one of my dad's traditions: preserving the taste of the alleyways.
Yellow croaker is nothing new to Shanghainese. This small yellow croaker is a Zhoushan specialty. The ingredients came from Ningbo, and so did the cooking method, but yellow croaker noodles were invented in Shanghai. Shanghai yellow croaker noodles depend on three things. First, the noodles. Second, the broth. Shanghai noodles are all about the broth. When it's done right, the broth really shines. And third, the toppings. For yellow croaker noodles, the noodles, broth, and fish all have to come together. The noodles need the right bite to match the freshness of the fish. That makes a good bowl.
I'm 74 this year. I started in 1993, and I'm still going. Most are regulars. We know their order as soon as they walk in. Shanghainese are quite funny. They see how good my business is and joke with me. They say, "I paid for one tire on your car." Didn't I? Because they've been here almost every day.
We've been eating these noodles since we were young. Now we are retired. We don't live here anymore. We came back just for these.
Some have been coming here for a lifetime. For decades. It's not easy. They've supported us for years.
Because your food is good, right?
He's in his 70s. He still gets up at 4 or 5 a.m. and goes to the market for fish and meat. The best part is that I can see every dish being cooked. It's all stir-fried fresh in the wok. That gentleman just said this place is pure Shanghai.
My mom used to make yellow croaker noodles with pickled greens. Fresh yellow croaker makes all the difference in taste and texture. Fish bones are a pain. They can catch in your throat. I'd rather throw away a little more than leave bones in.
Every early summer, Shanghai looks forward to the season's first East China Sea yellow croaker. Putting yellow croaker in noodles is actually tricky. You have to deal with the fishiness. Some clever owners add pickled mustard greens. Pickled greens lift the flavor and bring out the fish. Yellow croaker with pickled greens is a key Shanghai flavor. It came from Zhejiang, especially Ningbo and Zhoushan. Shanghainese took to it fast and made it their own.
When I was young, I loved cooking, so I became a chef. My wife worked so hard alongside me. We rode a bicycle with hooks hanging from the handlebars and bags of vegetables piled front and back. Every morning, after 5, she went shopping with me. We worked that hard for decades. By closing time, we were wiped out. So she slowly stepped back. I rarely work the stove myself now. My apprentices have been with us for more than 20 years. They are doing very well. After all these years, lots of old friends and regulars still come to see me. They say, "Hey, long legs, you're still looking good." I'm happy to see them too.
See you, boss.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Come again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Take care of yourself. I believe in one thing. Keep going. And do this work well.
In winter, Shanghainese always make stewed napa with shredded pork. Without it, winter just doesn't feel complete. That dish also inspired a snack or even a staple: stir-fried rice cakes with napa cabbage and shredded pork. Making rice cakes every winter is a classic part of rice culture. Rice cakes came from Zhejiang, and Ningbo makes the best ones. These rice cakes are smooth, soft, fresh, and chewy.
My name is Huang Qiping. I have been in restaurants for almost 10 years. Our signature dish is rice cakes. In Jiangsu, Zhoushan, and Shanghai, rice cakes used to be just for the new year. They symbolize rising higher each year. Napa cabbage tastes best in winter. In summer, it's hard to find and not as good. So I changed the recipe and used baby napa instead. It costs a little more, but tastes better. Are you used to Chinese food?
I'm used to it by now. Everything you make is delicious.
Thank you. Tell me if you need anything. Take your time. This was my old shop. The whole place was just this big, only 10 square meters. Back then, it was probably Shanghai's smallest restaurant. I used to rest here in a deck chair. I sat right here by the roadside, so a lot of neighbors know me. Back then, I got to the shop around 7 a.m. every morning to start prepping. All the prep, all the chopping, I did by myself. I worked straight through until 10 p.m. I had a group of loyal regulars. They sat in front of me, and I cooked facing them. Just a pane of glass between us. They ate and chatted with me. That was the best part. The place was too small. At its busiest, the shop was packed. People were standing, not sitting. They all stood there, waiting for my dishes. The line stretched into the alley. I just kept cooking while they clamored for the next dish. They helped themselves, to soup and food. I finished a wok and set it down. They served themselves and ate outside the door. It was complete chaos. I thought, this can't go on. So, I shut the place and took about 10 days off. By then, I was cooking in bulk, like a cafeteria. That was no good. So, I went back to cooking, one order at a time. That kept the quality. I wanted to make Shanghai food better, to bring out benbong flavors and pass them on. Making money was not my main goal. With a 10 square meter shop, how much could I really make? Eventually, I had to close that shop. So I rented this place. To be honest, it feels too big. I wish it were smaller. These mushrooms look great. They are so tender. Come late and you're out of luck. Boss, give me another bag. Thanks. Even after all these years, I still get my ingredients, fresh from the market, every morning. It's all fresh. I've never offered delivery. It tastes best, served hot, straight from the wok. Stir-fried rice cakes.
You're bringing it out yourself? This is so fresh. It tastes so fresh.
Fresh, right?
Super tender.
You are Shanghainese. Why eat rice cakes with rice? I'm not exactly patient, but you can't rush good cooking. I named the place Zhoushan myself. To me, being in this business means respecting our ingredients and every guest we serve. No chains, no pre-made dishes. I just want to keep it simple and do what I love well.
Space is precious in Shanghai. As locals say, they work wonders in tiny spaces. Some small restaurants still keep that going. They keep old flavors alive. That takes real devotion. I'll have your shuangdong soup. Old school Shanghainese like me love it.
Shuangdong soup.
For gluten puffs, I first check for the opening. This one is stuffed well, so it barely shows. That keeps the juices sealed inside. When you bite in, the sauce bursts out. The pork filling is mixed slowly and carefully by hand, so it stays loose and tender. If you use a grinder, the meat easily gets packed into one tight lump and tastes bad. That is, a proper bowl of soup. So good. The tofu rolls came from Huzhou. The stuffed puffs came from Wuxi. In Shanghai, these two snacks came together and became something new. It has been sold here for over a century.
This shop has real character. It brings together old Shanghai snacks under one roof. Shuangdong, soy products, and gluten dishes are at the heart of what Chinese people eat every day. In the West, they have cheese and cream. What do we have? Soy sauce. What's it from? From soybeans and soy products. So soy products are at the heart of our food culture.
Before I started running this little old Shanghai Shuangdong shop, I was already in catering. At first, I was probably too ambitious. The place I opened was 1,700 square meters, with 50 or 60 staff. Every month, I dreaded payday. The pressure was too much. Maybe mother and son really are connected. My son called me and asked how I was. I said, not great. He said, I knew something had to be wrong. You haven't called me for so long. Then he said, Mom, it's okay. Don't be afraid. You still have me. That taught me to stay grounded and start small.
Mom, 2 Beibing Yang sodas.
Okay. Table 25 is eating in, not takeaway. My son was in poor health. He had hyperthyroidism and could not eat iodized salt. So I rented a place near his office and opened a small shop. It supported the family and helped him recover. He said, this shop is Mom's love for me. So I called it a mother's love. This was my old shop. A mother's love. At lunchtime, it was always full. Back then, I still had plenty of energy. I opened this shop in 2018 to serve proper old Shanghai snacks. This is where we make shuangdong. We'll split the work like this. That works well.
Split what?
You wrap the tofu rolls, I'll stuff the puffs. We should call it Mother and Son Shuangdong. Pretty good, right? Look how well he wraps them. I have to say, the student has surpassed the teacher. He wraps them better. For our tofu rolls and stuffed puffs, the filling has a set mix of lean pork leg meat and fat. The same goes for the soup base and the filling seasoning. I weigh everything out, then scale it up by 100 or 200. The yellow rice wine has to be the brand we grew up with. That brings back the taste of childhood. I hope it can be passed down and become a century-old shop.
Shanghainese people feel a deep bond with Shikuman houses. Many of us grew up there. Eating there feels like eating at grandma's. Those old flavors bring childhood flooding back. Xing'an restaurant on Xing'an Road is inside a Shikuman Lane house. It opened in the mid-1990s and still tastes like it did 30 years ago.
Since my dad's time, this has been a family business. When Dad opened the place, I thought, free food for life. I thought being a chef would be great, so I went to vocational school to learn cooking. I kept trying to correct them, thinking I knew better, and they were all wrong. But once I did the real work, I realized I was not good enough. I learned a lot only after joining the restaurant. Back in Dad's day, most customers lived nearby. Around 2008, Dad stopped coming in much. I could finally do things my way. Their idea was, more dishes meant more choices, and more customers. I didn't think so. A menu should be focused. Fewer dishes done better. My dad and I barely talked before. He'd never say I was better. Never. Later, business picked up, and he accepted a lot of my changes. After I'd been running the place for about 10 years, we started praising each other, jokingly. He'd say, "You're doing well now." I'd say, "No, you left me a good foundation. You passed it down properly." When I first started, busy or not, I was always tired. Once I got used to it, busy or not, I was fine. That should be enough. Add more if you need.
You can't talk about Benbong cuisine without sizzling eel strips. That rich soy sauce style came from Anhui cuisine. The sweetness comes from Suzhou and Wuxi for many old Shanghai diners. This is the taste of Shanghai. Jiangsu, Zhoushan, and Shanghai have many rice paddies. And where there are paddies, there are eels. Eel tastes best when prepared fresh. For the final touch, hot oil is poured on at the table. That sizzle looks great, and it feels like a ceremony, like a theater curtain rising.
For eel strips, we prefer eel from northern Jiangsu. Yellow belly, black speckled back, like a tiger's tail. The texture is firm and springy. Careful. Sizzling eel strips.
Few places still serve this.
Never mind outside this area, even in Huangpu district, there aren't many.
And very few restaurants have managed to stay open this long.
There are very few places like this. Few last 20 or 30 years.
You've made it 30.
31. We're 69 years short of a century-old shop.
You don't want the shop? Give it away?
Exactly.
You wouldn't. Would you? Then you'll have to run it.
By the time I pass it to you, by then, it will already be at least 50 years old. A lifetime. Run it another 20 years, and it's 70. If you have kids, and they run it 30 more, it's 100. A 100-year shop. Running a restaurant comes down to sticking with it. 1 year isn't enough. 2 years isn't enough. After a few years, it'll start working, because if you stay with it, you'll do it with care. And over time, people will slowly come to recognize that.
Today, like many big cities in China, Shanghai is in the middle of a historic wave of urban renewal. Many old neighborhoods and alleyways have disappeared. Small restaurants are being forced to adapt as this city races forward with the times. How can they remain part of the city's everyday life and keep their bond with Shanghai alive? People find belonging in everyday things, in food, homes, and familiar streets. When someone comes in for rice cakes or shuangdong soup, I like to think it moves them a little. They feel, this is Shanghai. And I love it.